Humans of the cardboard, welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. Today we're covering 5 brand new CRYSTRON cards revealed tonight for Supreme Darkness. This is our first real week post the cover art being revealed and support there of beginning waves of support for the new core set. It's really exciting. We got the new archetype last night. Before that, we got the Speedroid cards, and now we moved to CRYSTRON. Pretty cool stuff. CRYSTRON's always been kind of a cool archetype. Works in a very particular manner. Hopefully they give them some good support here. This one's a little weird just because Hulk is banned, and that's the best card in the archetype. So hopefully the support allows them to work without Hulk, but we'll obviously have to see where we go here. But let's just jump in. Let's see how these cards do. First off here we have Chron Tros. This is a level 2 water machine tuner effect monster. Level 2 water is interesting for potential Toad stuff, but I guess not Toad, but more so Sprite, and it's because it is not a Aqua, because of machine. Interesting. Alright, 800 attack, 2000 defense. You can only use the first and second effects once per turn. When your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effect, you can special summon a CRYSTRON monster from your deck, except for another Tristalos. Then, immediately after this effect resolves, Synchro summon one machine monster using that monster you control. Not bad. That's pretty good. This card's already the tuner, so you're going to be trying to summon one of the non-tuners out of the deck, and then Synchro summon immediately. I think that's pretty good. This card has the potential to be part of your end board that you pass on, that when your opponent tries to activate something to start their turn or whenever they're playing, whenever they activate something, you can chain this and get into potentially a powerful synchro. It's only machine synchros. I don't know the full list of synchros that are good outside of the CRYSTRON synchros themselves. Because I know they have the big ones that on summon are banishing cards, but I think those need synchro tuners to make them. So this guy doesn't go straight into those, I don't think. But I'm sure there's some other decent machine synchros. I just don't know them off the top of my head that aren't in archetype. Second effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard to destroy one synchro monster you control. Then special 2 CRYSTRON monsters from your deck. Also, you cannot special summon for the rest of this turn except machine monsters. That actually seems crazy, because I'm pretty sure all of the synchros in the archetype say if they're destroyed, summon back from grave, summon a monster from banish, and I think there's even one that summons from deck, but that's pretty nice because that means potentially even in response to a hand trap, even going first, you can quick sync into a synchro and then use this effect in grave. To then pop the synchros and summon 2 more CRYSTRON straight from the deck. Being locked in machines doesn't matter to you really at all, I would assume, because all of your effects quick synchro into machines. That doesn't really lock you out of much. That seems good. That seems like a really good first card. Really, really good. I like him a lot. Okay, cool. This is honestly the perfect card if Hulk was around. Maybe at some point we'll get a Hulk errata that makes it specifically for CRYSTRONs only and not a generically crazy tool. That'd be something. But let's keep moving. We got 4 more cards. I don't want to waste too much time blabbing. CRYSTRON, oh my god. Sulfud Hole? What am I supposed to do with that? Level 5 water machine effect monster, 1900 attack, 2250 defense, weird defense line, and 2 hard ones per turn effects for its effects. The first one reads, if this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can target a CRYSTRON card you control, destroy it, then special summon this card. Also, you cannot special summon from the extra deck for the rest of this turn, except machines. Fine. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can send up to 2 CRYSTRON cards with different names from your deck to the graveyard. These 2 monsters are nasty. When I saw that these got revealed and hadn't been translated yet, I just did a quick read through on some of the older CRYSTRON cards. They have 2 separate monsters in archetype that in grave just say, banish them, one searches a CRYSTRON monster, one searches a CRYSTRON spell or trap. I was like, dang. So now this card is a decent extender in the first place, because we've already talked about how some of the CRYSTRON cards float when they're destroyed. And then it just Foolish Burials 2 that are basically just searching you 2. So this card is an indirect Rhoda for 2. which is nasty. These are nice. These are really good main deck cards for the deck. Nice. All right. New Synchro. I think this is the only Synchro here because we have a spell and a trap afterwards. So our only new Synchro is a 7. I don't even know if the archetype has a 7 yet. This is CRYSTRON Skeletus. Cool. Level 7 Water Machine, of course. Effect monster 26, 21 for the stats. Completely generic, actually. Any tuner and any non-tuners. You can only use the first and third effects once per turn. If this card is Synchro summoned, you can add a CRYSTRON card from your graveyard or banishment to your hand. Interesting. Doesn't add it from deck, but theoretically, if you're playing this card in Synchron specific, or not in Synchron, in CRYSTRON specifically, you should be getting something engrave or banish. So sure, that add back is cool. Also, I love that it's card, so spells and traps too could potentially be gettable here. That's solid. It should be a +1, assuming you've already gone through something to get to it. Second effect, monsters your opponent controls lose 500 attack and defense. Sure. That's the baby bonus effect, sure. And if this card is if this Synchro summon card is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special a CRYSTRON monster from your grave or banishment. Again, this just seems like a pretty basic tool, right? I would assume what they're going for here is you have your level 2 tuner. When your opponent activates an effect, you're able to summon this level 5 guy. On his summon, he's able to send the 2. Those 2 guys will get their adds from grave, theoretically, or well, they are just in rotation, and if they're going to get summoned, get brought back off this card, that's something as well. But then you can use this guy's grave effect to pop the Synchro. Once you've made the Synchro with these 2 bodies, then the Synchro floats into something. This guy gets you 2 more from deck, and you haven't even used this guy in grave. That's pretty powerful turnout there off of just the level 2 tuner. Like, literally, unironically, normal summoning the level 2 tuner is like not nothing. Especially if you can get your opponent to activate something. Alright. And then we get to a continuous spell card. This is CRYSTRON Inclusion. I actually don't know if the archetype, reading back on it, either there weren't any good ones, or I don't even know if the archetype has any spells yet, but this says CRYSTRON in the name, so this is searchable off of the guy in grave. Or any card that adds a CRYSTRON card. You can only activate 1 card with this card's name per turn. You can only use the third effect once per turn. When this card resolves, you can add a CRYSTRON card from your deck to your hand. Sick. Okay, cool. That's really nice for consistency. Like that a lot. The first time each of your CRYSTRON monsters would be destroyed by battle each turn, it is not destroyed. Cool. That actually is really nice. That's actually like an effect that maybe looks just like okay, fine, but it actually is really nice because pretty constantly in like pure CRYSTRON builds, I believe you're tending to end on a guy like this who's not very big, especially if you had to normal summon them or something. This guy's got 2,000 defense. I don't know if the other small ones have that big defense even. So sometimes even somebody just immediately coming out the gate with a decent sized body, like a bestial or something, and then just trying to run over your guy who's going to tag out, can really force stuff early. So this card can actually, that effect is like low-key kind of nice. And the third effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard to target a CRYSTRON monster in your graveyard, special summon it. Jeez, man. These cards are sick. These cards are actually really good. Let's see. Here, CRYSTRON. Okay, so there's a little extra synergy as well, because I was looking at it, I'm like, this is a continuous spell. How is this ending up in grave? If you look at Soul Foothole and also some of the other cards in the archetype, I believe, some of the main deck monsters, they have like effects where it's like, destroy 1 face-up card you control to get some resource from somewhere. Reborn something, summon something from deck, whatever. And that's exactly, this one's also on that as well, right? If it's in hand or grave, you can just pop the continuous spell. It only searches on activation. It's not every turn, so you're not losing anything there. You do lose the protection, but then you also get this card engraved to then get you an additional body later on. This card is awesome. Honestly, all 4 of these cards are pretty good. Low-key, like the Synchro may be the worst one of the 3, because the other 3 are like nasty. But that card's not even bad. I'm not even mad about it. I think that card's solid too. Alright, which is good because a lot of the Synchros didn't do any, at least in Archetype, didn't do anything to get you like value. I think it's like there's 2 smaller ones that like basically just say quick effect Synchro summon. And then there's the 2 big ones that are like banishing all your opponent's spell and traps and banishing a bunch of monsters or whatever. So they didn't really do anything to get you value. So it was all left up to the main deck to get that any of your value. Whereas this card actually does help you just get resources. This card can plus you 2, which is really nice. All right, last card here is a trap. This deck can get the traps pretty well and actually get multiple, I believe, with some of the lines. So let's take a look here. This is CRYSTRON Cluster. Continuous trap, you can only use the second effect once per turn. Also low-key for an archetype like this, for Chron, especially with something like Mulcharmy Fluoros coming around and Perulia, like an archetype just getting more quick, easy ways to just set up like multiple traps in archetype is kind of low-key nasty, because then if you do get hit by those cards, you can potentially play lines where you only give your opponent 1 or 2 draws, and then you still set like 2 of the traps. You end on one of the tiny tuner guys to like quick sync on the opponent's turn, and you still end up on like 3-4 interactions, and your opponent like 1-for-1 with their crazy blowout hand trap. All right, anyway, getting back to this card, CRYSTRON Cluster here. Second effect is a hard once per turn. The first one is not. It's continuous, though. That first effect, while it's face up, CRYSTRON cards you control cannot be banished by your opponent's card effects. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's not bad at all. I mean, you're already getting, like, battle protection from the continuous spell, and then also banishing protection, which is getting more and more popular. I mean, that means Cosmic Cyclone isn't touching you. That means SP Little Knight is kind of taken out of as a factor to kind of spot remove your stuff or even interrupt you. That's not the worst thing in the world. Okay, it's interesting that it's control too. I mean, I guess you're water archetype, so you don't really get Bistrilled, but there could have been some stuff there, I guess, but that's not huge. All right, second effect, you can target 1 face-up card on the field, or up to 2 if you control a CRYSTRON Synchro monster. Shuffle 1 CRYSTRON card from your grave or banish into the deck, except for Cluster, obviously. And if you do, destroy the targeted cards. Nice. I mean, for a continuous, that's kind of low-key nice, because especially if you end up in the grind game, this is just doing this every single turn, right? You're getting at least a pop 1, and probably in most scenarios, you're ending on a CRYSTRON Synchro. So, or at least on your opponent's turn, not ending on it, but getting into one, and making that a pop 2. It's an Icarus attack, but it's a very repeatable Icarus attack with a little bonus... like a protection effect on field as well. This is probably the best interruptive trap they have. They have a couple traps that like summon stuff and like get resources, but this one's the best one, I think, at just straight up like interaction. So this one's pretty cool as well. I think this is probably a 1 of in the deck. Probably the worst card of the bunch here, but it still fills like a specific slot in the deck that I don't think super conflicts with anything. So I think that's totally solid. This is kind of like a power creep on like old style Icarus attack type cards. The only thing I could have asked more from this card is like some sort of float effect, just because you have so many unarchetype cards that say pop a face up card you control to like do something. If this card had an effect where like if it's sent to the graveyard, do something, if it's destroyed, do something. But that's basically it. No real complaints about this card overall. Honestly, very strong support. It depends, because we're talking about CRYSTRON without Halki Fibrak, so how good is the archetype already? And you know, where does this leave us? But I do think overall this puts us in a pretty dang good position. I feel pretty good about it. This looks really fun. I think some people are going to be really interested in this, because I know there are a good amount of people that really like CRYSTRONs, and this is a hugely powerful, a massively powerful wave of support for them. Very curious to hear it. I'm not a connoisseur. I'm only a connoisseur of a couple different decks. I'm very curious on people who have maybe messed with CRYSTRON in the past as a pure strategy and how big these cards are for them. Also, it's important to note, I don't think CRYSTRON really, other than Synchro machines in the extra deck, which is actually a pretty real restriction, that is the only restriction in the archetype. Is there anything else interesting? I don't know too much about like generic machine synchros and what's available there, if there's anything really strong there. So fill me in the comment section down below. How good are these cards, and what other like tools do they already have at their disposal that I don't even know about right now, because I don't know that much about CRYSTRONs. I'd love to hear that. So throw it down in the comments. Other than that, I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching as always. I'll see you in the next one. I'll keep you updated on all things Yu-Gi-Oh! News. They'll probably have 1 or 2 more reveals for the rest of this week. Actually, they may even go through Thursday, through Friday maybe, and just do a full week before they kind of have a break before they get back into it. But I'm still expecting a little more here. But I'll keep you posted. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Peace.